In India, 72% of the women in the age group of 25 to 50 have never got themselves screened for cervical cancer, which is really alarming.
Today, I've been joined by someone who brings both insight and impact to the Indian healthcare industry, Ms. Tanya Julka, Head Marketing at Roche Diagnostics India and neighboring markets. Tanya is a strategist, a storyteller, and a strong advocate of innovation and impact in the Indian healthcare industry.
Diagnostics today is the foundation of modern medicine, accounting for 70% of clinical decision making, while only accounting for 5% of healthcare spending in India. So, equitable access for healthcare for women in India is not just important, it's urgent right now. It's not happening. We actually recently did an APAC survey where it was found that 42% of the women delay treatment just because of family obligations. At Roche, we are actually also doing a campaign called Be Your Own Shiro, which is largely about women taking charge of their own health, encouraging women to go out there, get testing done, take care of their health.
If you could change with just one thing about how diagnostics is perceived or used in India, what would that be and why?
So the big idea how diagnostics will evolve will largely be, if I have to just put it simply in a sentence, it's going to be getting tested when something is wrong to actually getting tested now as part of an everyday life, an everyday routine.
What's one piece of advice that you would like to give to your younger self back then when you were just starting off?
I would actually look back and tell myself, don't let failures define you, because failures are the most interesting part of the journey that you are here for. They define who you are, what you're going to do next. It's actually an opportunity. So failures are not something negative, they are an opportunity.
Hello everyone and welcome to this very special podcast series, The Big Idea, a Voice of Healthcare initiative. Through this initiative, we have decided to go beyond the headlines and invite the storytellers, innovators, and change makers in the Indian healthcare industry, who all are working together to build a very resilient future of the healthcare ecosystem. At Voice of Healthcare, our mission has always been very simple. We strive to create a candid space to invite all the storytellers, change makers, and visionaries from all the walks of the healthcare spectrum. And the reason is very simple. We strongly and firmly believe that behind every seed of idea that incubates within the healthcare industry, there's a vision that it's been created, there's a problem that has been solved, and beyond everything, there's a story that deserves to be heard the most. Today, we're zeroing a landscape and a very special vertical of the healthcare industry, diagnostics, which is pretty much safe to say that has been very silently changing the most loudest way possible the Indian healthcare industry. Today, I've been joined by someone who brings both insight and impact to the Indian healthcare industry, Ms. Tanya Julka, Head Marketing at Roche Diagnostics India and neighboring markets. Tanya is a strategist, a storyteller, and a strong advocate of innovation and impact in the Indian healthcare industry. Under her leadership, Roche has not only delivered some of the most impactful medical and game-changing diagnostic tools, but has also ensured that they reach people who need them the most. With that, I take this pleasure to invite you, Tanya. It's a pleasure to be having you today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Khushbu. It's a pleasure to be here as well.
Now, Tanya, I did mention in the introduction that how diagnostics have been silently making the most loudest change possible. And specifically during the COVID era, diagnostics has tried to create a forefront in the healthcare industry. But I think it's safe to say that diagnostics is often called a silent hero in healthcare. But from you coming from the sole diagnostics industry, always working behind the scenes but rarely in spotlight. So Tanya, why do you think diagnostics has to be at the forefront of the healthcare industry and has to be on the top of the conversation tables? Over to you.
Very interesting question. And yes, I know it's observed when you go out speaking to patients and, in general consumers, you don't realize the importance of diagnostics on a regular basis. But today, diagnostics has moved from just diagnosing a disease to actually disease prevention, which is extremely important. How that impacts is the lives of people, the patients, the caregivers, of clinicians to understand what is the correct treatment protocol in advance, planning of financial resources in terms of how the treatment will take place. So it's bringing the entire healthcare ecosystem together, making them more efficient with the with the new technologies and the tools that it's actually offering today.
Now, Tanya, it's been very easy and convenient for us to understand how diagnostics has been shaping the way how healthcare has been seen lately. But now imagine that you're at a dinner party, but nobody else is from the healthcare industry apart from you. And you have to explain the diagnostics and the power that it brings with it just in a very powerful sentence. What would your take on be?
Well, if it's just one sentence, I would say diagnostics today is the foundation of modern medicine, accounting for 70% of clinical decision making, while only accounting for 5% of healthcare spending in India.
Since we very well discussed about how diagnostics is shaping the healthcare industry and what differences has been made both market-wise and spend-wise, Tanya, coming from you, somebody who's leading marketing, you have a front row seat on how innovation is transforming diagnostics, it's safe to say. Can you share some examples of how cutting-edge diagnostics have transformed outcomes in a very specific disease area?
So today, if I have to give an example of cutting-edge diagnostic solution, specifically with respect to cancer, early detection of cancer is actually becoming really important. So artificial intelligence tools, gene sequencing, digital pathology are different tools and solutions that are now available for early detection and also for remote monitoring and helping patients and caregivers plan overall the treatment protocols. Also, if you actually look at Alzheimer's disease today, there are new solutions that are available for predicting the early onset of symptoms, which is extremely important for such disease areas because of the mental turmoil and trauma that the patients and the caregivers go through. So because these solutions are available, clinical actually can plan the treatment protocols and guidelines way in advance and also prime the family members in terms of the financial planning that they have to do for these disease areas and also give assurance to the patient in terms of mental satisfaction and in terms of the journey of the patient in early onset. So this is also something that's becoming very, very critical.
It does, and that's, I think, a very, very solid example of how diagnostics is not just shaping the healthcare industry and specifically in disease areas, it's also helping us prevent some of the diseases by letting us know the early onset, etc. So kudos to the team at Roche, Tanya. Speaking of which, we all know that Roche is recognized globally for its pioneering work and the technological aspects that go behind the healthcare and the Roche diagnostics. Help us take us inside a Roche engine room. Can you give us behind the scenes look if that's okay? How does your team go from breakthrough innovation lab to just making sure that the tools and technologies reach to the medical communities and they in turn take it in practice? Over to you.
For us, any solution that we actually bring in as Roche has supposed to have a 360-degree infrastructure in place before we launch it. So whenever a cutting-edge solution comes, we work very closely with the healthcare systems, whether it's clinicians, the labs, the policy makers, to ensure that the solutions are not just scalable, but it also are reachable to many people all over India. So the access is something that's very important when it comes to our solutions. The second thing that we actually work for is capacity building at the lab. So we run many initiatives with the labs in the hospitals in terms of operational efficiencies, risk management, capability building of the lab technician staff to understand the solutions on how to use it and how to actually offer it to the clinicians and then in turn to the patients at an efficient level. That's the second thing. Third thing is that we work on value-based outcomes. So the idea is that any new solution needs to have a holistic value, whether you're offering it to the clinician directly or helping the clinician offering it to the patient. And that something is the epitome of any solution Roche launches today.
Well, there does go a lot of work behind the scenes, Tanya. Thank you so much. Taking a privilege of having you yourself representing Roche and representing rather the Indian healthcare industry in front of me. Tanya, what are your thoughts on providing access to diagnostic solutions specifically that cater to women's health? Do you see any gaps currently, or are there any takes of how do you take it forward through Roche Diagnostics?
So equitable access for healthcare for women in India is not just important, it's urgent right now. It's not happening. We actually recently did an APAC survey where it was found that 42% of the women delay treatment just because of family obligations. In India, 72% of the women in the age group of 25 to 50 have never got themselves screened for cervical cancer, which is really alarming, right? And this is where it's extremely important for healthcare systems, clinicians, labs, policymakers, also spouses of the women or partners of the women, family members, to work together to ensure that there's enough information, facilitation of diagnosis is there. A personal example would be that when I was actually planning my second pregnancy, because I come from the industry, I actually took an AMH test, the anti-malarial hormone test, which was low. So that helped me plan my pregnancy quicker, right, as compared to when I would have originally thought. Such information is not very easily available to the women in India. So there's a lot of responsibilities of companies such as us in the diagnostic sector to provide that education. And this is extremely crucial today, and something that I think of from very closely from my heart.
Sure, indeed. And I believe that as many forums as we go to speak about women's health, it's always less. So why don't we just take a leverage of this opportunity and talk more about how important it is to make women's health, make early detection of women cancers or diseases more prevalent, at least understanding the problems that women are going through and just making sure that they know the right set of information and that they know there is a solution out there.
At Roche, we are actually also doing a campaign called Be Your Own Shiro, which is largely about women taking charge of their own health, encouraging women to go out there, get testing done, take care of their health. And so we're pushing it through different influencers that we have, different clinicians that we have, and we're working together to create this ecosystem for women in India.
Well, kudos to this initiative, Tanya, and I just hope that we create so many more Shiros that we already have. Thanks for that, Tanya. Moving on to how we've navigated the healthcare industry, just tied up through how diagnostics have been built, and also did a bit about women's health. But just taking a little magnifying glass to it and a little dive into the future, Tanya. Let's pretend you have a crystal ball that has an ability to see how diagnostics is going to shape. What would be a few changes that you think we'd be seeing in the future of the Indian healthcare industry pertaining to diagnostics?
I spoke earlier about artificial intelligence and how it's actually coming. So specifically with related to cancer disease screening or lifestyle diseases, I believe artificial intelligence is obviously going to play a more and more important role. But obviously, alone AI cannot drive everything. You need smart minds to actually work together to be able to provide interpretation of this data to patients, to clinicians, to caregivers, to understand better in terms of how to interpret the insights, to validate them through clinical protocols. So that's something that I feel is going to come up in a big way. The second thing that I feel is point of care testing, because as the access to diagnostic solutions is increasing in India, there's a huge demand from tier 2, tier 3 and even rural areas for point of care testing to be available. And it's our responsibilities as part of the diagnostic industry to provide these solutions, not just scalable but affordable to this population. So that's also something that I see coming up in a big way.
Well, the future is AI, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Also, we just hope that we see more efficient and more proper use of AI going through and just tying up with the current necessity of the Indian healthcare system, which is accessibility, affordability, and just making sure that people know that there are solutions out there. So moving on, Tanya, just putting a context to what we are discussing here today, the big idea moment, Tanya, for you. Now, spending a lot of your time discussing about the Indian healthcare industry, knowing diagnostics so closely, I'm sure there might be many things that you think you could change. Just one thing about how diagnostics is perceived, not within the healthcare industry, but also outside the healthcare industry. So Tanya, if I may ask, if you could change with just one thing about how diagnostics is perceived or used in India, what would that be and why?
So the big idea how diagnostics will evolve will largely be, if I have to just put it simply in a sentence, it's going to be getting tested when something is wrong to actually getting tested now and as part of an everyday life, an everyday routine. The reason why I say that is that a lot of us actually historically have been only waiting for, something to happen to us, feel certain symptoms, and then run to the doctor who will then tell us that, okay, now get tested for these parameters. As slowly we see the rise of lifestyle related diseases, specifically with related to heart, failure or diabetes or kidney disease or liver function, all of them are really largely linked. And for that, when you're taking care or taking charge of your own health, overall, as part of your fitness routine or a nutrition routine, diagnosis needs to be integrated in your everyday healthcare. And that's how I see the importance of the big idea that I want people to really look at when they look at diagnostics.
Sure. And I think even if you're able to achieve 50% of what you just said, just making sure that we make diagnostics more towards preventive and not towards disease specific, I think we'd be able to cure so many problems that exist in terms of disease specific areas. So thank you for that, Tanya. Before I let you go, Tanya, I'm just going to take the moment to have a quick rapid fire with you. And why not? So, Tanya, I would just first ask a question for you. Taking back to your younger days, what's one piece of advice that you would like to give to your younger self back then when you were just starting off?
I think specifically now, I would actually look back and tell myself, don't let failures define you. Because failures are the most interesting part of the journey that you're here for. They define who you are, what you're going to do next. It's actually an opportunity. So failures are not something negative, they are an opportunity.
They very well are. And if not the failures, what would the podcast be then? I think it's very important for us to discuss how some small setbacks take us through what we hear today. Moving on, if you had to choose one word to define the future of diagnostics, what would it be?
Artificial intelligence.
Oh yes, why not? One habit or ritual that just keeps you going and inspired and focused.
Well, it would be for me meditation and spirituality.
Well, with that, we come to the conclusion of this discussion. Thank you so much, Tanya. It was a delight to be listening all your perspectives, hows and whens of the diagnostics industry and how we foresee the future, coming from somebody who has been closely witnessing the change in the diagnostics industry. Thank you so much, Tanya. And to all our viewers and listeners, thank you so much. And we hope to build and take these conversations to a much larger stage in the future. Thank you so much. Till we come back again. Thank you.